What's happening, everybody? Welcome to our downtown studios. I'm John Ramdeen alongside Robin Black. These are our last looks at UFC 206 going down Saturday night at the Air Canada Centre. The main event, Max Holloway taking on Anthony Pettis. The co-featured bout, Donald Cerrone and the immortal one, Matt Brown. A tremendous duo of fights, but some of the other fights, they're kind of flying under the radar. Tremendous action, I'll tell you, and I know you're just as excited as I am to see the return of one of our favorite Canadian fighters, one of our favorite fighters maybe on the planet, and the young gun, Jordan Meehan.
Yeah, it was nice. I sat down with him at dinner time and his father Lee, and we were chatting about, about life and about fighting. And Jordan, as we know, had a daughter 3 weeks ago. Congrats, brother. You and he were talking. You have daughters, about the moment it changes your life. I don't have children yet, but you see it in his eyes, and you see it, I see it in the eyes of friends. The moment that you see them have a child, they're like, yeah, the perspective of everything changed. And he started to re-see fighting. One, I think the guy they fought that guy too long, too many times. And he needed a break, so he took a break, and during that break was like, I'm married, I'm gonna have a daughter, my future is laid out in front of me. What do I love to do? I like getting in a cage and fighting people, and that can provide for my family. And all of a sudden, instead of this thing he had to do, these responsibilities that he had to do this job, it became this thing he gets to do. And whenever a fighter's in that spot is when they're at their best. It's going to be great to see him fight. He and Lee were well ahead of this game that we're seeing others understand now, of manipulating the push and pull of fighting, of drawing you into space and landing on you. That's been what Jordan has done for years. The world is caught up somewhat, but it'll be interesting to see what changes and what growth Jordan has had in this time.
When you think about this matchup, Emil Meek clearly going to be going after Jordan Meehan because he hasn't been in the cage for any length of time over the last couple of years. So you would imagine ring rust. Some people say it's a thing, some people say it's not a thing. But for Meek, this is also his UFC debut, so a lot of pressure on him taking on a guy that is battle tested, that is still young, that is still growing as a mixed martial artist. And I know everybody grows, whether you're 50 years old or you're 21 years old, you're going to continue to improve if you dedicate your life to the pursuit of mixed martial arts excellence or martial arts excellence. Jordan Meehan, though, because of his experience, he knows how to manage every single second and every inch of that cage.
It's so true, man. I'm excited for it. Meek seems like a really cool guy. He's hyper motivated. He gets it. You want to play rock, paper, scissors with me on three? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right? That is the choice.
That's the game.
As we go in, am I going to pressure or am I going to not pressure? And that's what Meek is now going to be dealing with. Do I say to myself, Jordan is, had some time off, let's pressure him? Or do I say to myself, he knows I'm going to pressure him, so let's go back. And we start playing that game. And by the way, I beat you right there. And we start playing that game. Because you both know we can either pressure or not pressure. He can respond to pressure or not respond to pressure. I can take it easy. None of them are necessarily the right approach. So you have to go in with what you are prepared to go in with. What you don't want to do is at the last second change it. And that's one of the things that happens with that sort of octagon shock. Whatever your plans were, whatever your intentions were, however you prepared for yourself, you didn't prepare for Bruce Buffer standing there saying your name and all this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden you were planning to throw paper and you threw some other thing because of all the pressure. That's what Meek is faced with, and that's the pressure that he deals with. And how does he handle that? That's what we're going to see.
I know a lot of fighters, they're at their best when they're having fun. They're enjoying this process of being inside of the cage. But we saw Jordan almost take it one step too far in that fight with Thiago Alves, messed around a little too much, and then he was made to pay for that. Do you imagine that that's removed? You just minimize the type of playfulness that you have inside of the cage.
That's a tough one, man. I feel like, so he was playing around and he did this roll. And after he did the roll, some type of self-consciousness, some type of should I have done that? Kind of felt like it came in. It also could have been random. Could have been a fluke that Alves happened to land that kick there. So do you overthink it? Do you examine yourself? Like, what you don't do is become something inauthentic. And Jordan is at his best when he's having fun. He's at his best when he's out there doing his thing and really believing in his skills. He's incredibly skilled and he's incredibly experienced, and he can find that spot in combat where, this is where I'm supposed to be. And when he finds that spot, the other guy goes to sleep.
What I found very interesting interesting is that he's so grounded and he has a real understanding of the game because he's been in this game for so long. He's coming back to mixed martial arts because he wants to. One of the things we were talking about is, yes, there seems to be more money now than there ever has been in mixed martial arts. But he's not delusional. He understands that Conor McGregor is a special individual, and of course all these other athletes are trying to figure out how to get their piece of the pie. But he truly believes in his heart of hearts, at the end of the day, the amount of money that he's going to make in mixed martial arts isn't going to be the type of money he's going to be able to retire on for the rest of his life. That he goes out to do this because he loves it. And yes, of course, he's trying to make the most amount of money, but he's not banking on that.
Yeah, it's true. And he's going to go out there. If you're motivated by money, sometimes it's hard to get money. If you're motivated by trying to accomplish great things, often the money will take care of itself. And not always, but often. It was interesting you mentioned Conor McGregor. He and his dad and his boys were sitting around. They love that guy.
Yeah.
They find him entertaining. They love him as a martial artist. Your options when you see something are you can be indifferent, you can love it, you can hate it, you can do any of those things. They recognize, these ultra smart martial artists are looking at that going, that guy is not only a great martial artist, but a smart thinker. They were talking about the people that he's put in place, how he doesn't fall into these pitfalls. He goes in and he studies life. It's like, okay, now I've made a lot of money. I'm going to have to bring people around me. I notice that people often put the wrong people around them and that hurts them. How do I figure out how to put the right people? Read a book by a CEO about it. That's the kind of stuff he does. And when you're watching people do that, and taking inspiration from it, you can see how a kid like Jordan is thinking about the steps to ensure a successful future. He's going to do great. It's going to be great to see him back in there.
Jordan Meek looking to make a successful return to mixed martial arts when he is in action at UFC 206 this Saturday night in Toronto.